Okay, so we created plant, we created tree, we created twigs, branches. Now let's go ahead and add leaves. We can go ahead, again, right click, and we're going to geometry. You can see we have different elements. We have billboard leaves and a normal leaves. The difference is a billboard is always faced towards camera, and they're not really 3D. They're kind of like facing, just image always face towards the camera. It's a nice if creating plants with a far away, but close up they not necessarily work very well. But if we create normal leaf, this has allowed us to create a nice shape, predefine a shape. We just only need loaded texture. So let's go ahead and add this to the twig. Notice at this point we instantly have those leaves start populating. Again, now inside the twig we have also children, which is related to our leaf. We could create our rule over. Again, we can adjust all these properties if we need it to make them different. Okay, we also can increase amount of them. So we're going to have it quite a bit. A little bit more plants. Okay, let's go zoom out. We can also add a little bit more twigs around. Or I think for the example of this tree, this is probably work just fine. Okay. Again, we can add twigs if you need additional to those elements. And sometimes you can do very easy just connecting twigs to this or put it inside and it will add all these elements. But I think for now, just let's leave it like this. Let's look next what we have our properties here. Notice that we have it horizontalism. So it's how horizontal flowers, leaves will be. So we can go ahead and make an angle a little bit more horizontal. So it's mean all leaves will be kind of try adjust themselves horizontally, but it does not necessarily always look very nice. So many times I just leave it to the 0 so our camera can preview from different angles of this. We also have it start and end. Let's pop up start just a little bit up. So it's meaning they don't start directly by the beginning of the branch. It does not look very good. Okay. Ending is kind of fine if we go it all the way to the end. We already set our placement, our orientation. This is again 30 degrees by default. We can increase more so they can go like you can see almost a laying on this. However, I found maybe about 10 degrees, 15 degrees will work very well with this angle. And again, plus minus additional 15 degrees will give it us anywhere from 0 to 30. So let's give it some randomnesses with. If you want it, you can enable pruning, and the pruning will allow kind of pre-cut some of this, add more randomness to our element. I think we'll leave it as 0 here. And you know what, maybe let's go pop up a little bit more on ours. Or actually, you know what, let's go back. I'll take back. We're going back to the 10, but inside the leaf, we'll just go increase slightly sizes on those. So the leaves is also applied to the wind. If we're going to select our wind to preview, okay, let's go ahead right here. Oh, you can see how much of those twigs we need to fix. They're quite a bit flexible. But we also can allow the flexibility of them, how much they will going down with gravity and other elements. So let's go bring them back up a little bit. Okay. So our scale, currently it's 1. We could increase, we can make them quite a bit large. So and sometimes it's kind of look nice. And let's go, you know what, as we have it a global scale, let's go to set random. So they will be smaller and bigger. And nice things about this, we can set how much influence we want. So I can go ahead and set smaller and bigger, depending where you locate it, how close are you going to the end of the twig. Remember, this is related to the twig. Or opposite, for example, bigger on the beginning of the twig. You actually can see right here very well on this twig. So you can see beginning of the twig big. And as we're going smaller, smaller, smaller. So it just depends if you like it. I would prefer kind of a little bit changing so it is creating kind of interesting, again, preview. But the best way for you to do it is to just look on a plant and see what plant currently have. How does that plant reference? So you can do all other stuff. Okay, I think that one transformation look okay. Now in our leaf, we also have it material. And till we work here, let's go just add material. And I'm going, you'll notice as a material, we don't look that much. But we have it our leaf, we have it all its properties. So I'm going to add material. We'll go open one. And if you notice right here, we have it already some leaves in our collection. So I'm just very simple. Okay, so right here, we have it our leaf selected. And this already you can see kind of predefined. Let's go ahead, click OK. And one other thing, we'll have a point. So almost any time when we open, we want to see hook point. So right here, red one, it's off. So we want to move and place it on the end of the plane. So it's meaning now they will look more accurate, like it's connecting to this point. Let's click OK. And our leaves, if we look closer, they'll be hooked right here. So they look a little bit more accurate in this way. Okay. Let me adjust this plane right there. There you go. Okay, I also kind of don't like a little bit those too long and flexible, so I may need rework. So let me just, till I remember, go in the branches, influence, and flexibilities at 0.3. So I don't like them too flexible. Okay, let me preview wind. A little bit better. It still be quite a bit flexibility, but way better than before. They kind of was swing all over places. Okay, let's go back to our leaves. So we set already leave our texture, and it was very easy because we predefined. And in a few tutorials, we're going to create our own textures, our own leaves, and we're going to place multiple different leaves. But for now, as a basic, let's do this. So next, I want to create texture for my trunk. So we'll go select the trunk. And remember, trunk will pass all its properties all the way up because we says as a materials inherent from the parent. So as a segment, we'll go ahead and preload it. So we'll go click on load material, and we're going to have it bark, branches. So we have all of this. Okay, I'm going with the bark. And as a bark, we can look all these different ones. Let's go take oak. I know it's not oak, it's probably birch. Well, you know what, let me see if we have it right here, birch. There you go, we have it birch, we created. So right there, we added texture, and you can see how it's passed through all of them. Except my twigs, if you know the birch very well, twigs is actually black. They're not having this one. So we want to go ahead inside and go in the branches. And we don't want palm fiber, so I'm just looking, nope, we don't want any of these. We'll just select darker. Japanese maple maybe even work very well because it will create a little bit dark. Okay, at this point, let's go ahead and render, see what we have so far. Okay, as the render completed, you can preview. We have a birch with very fast create our trunk, and we add a little bit of the leaves, some of them a little bit too small. We can always fix this. Actually, you know what, let's go fix this. I don't necessarily like how they look. So in this case, we'll go inside the transform, and we'll just reset our filter. So I want them all the way be same size. I don't want them smaller will be. Okay, and I think that is about right size right here. So the string all that's right. Let's go our, again, compare our twigs. We go on a segment and a link 0.7 to 3. So it's about small twigs. You know what, maybe we should create a little bit bigger. So let's go 1 and give it 0.4. So our twigs will be just a little bit bigger. Okay, we don't need a minimum length on this. We could set smaller, but I think that is work very well, so it's fine. Radius, and currently 0.1. Again, it's in a meter, so it's about 1 centimeter width. inherit ratio, it's fine with the 50%. We could pop up, so they will be just a little bit thicker than other ones. Okay, Axel, Anger, all is fine. We'll go with influencer. That is good. And I think twigs is fine. So let's go inside the branches. And remember, this is a loop on the branches, so we have to multiple them. Okay, we'll go with a segment, just verify a few things. Our link anywhere from 4 to 5, because we want to cut. Some of those cuts will be done. And I think it's kind of nice. Repeat, you know what, maybe let's go put it 4 on the repeat. So we'll have it a little bit more of those branches going. Okay. And influencer, okay, sorry, go on segment. And we'll go prism is fine. So we could add a little bit more. So they drop down. I'll add so they kind of drop. I don't know which one you want to go up or drop down a little bit like a bigger tree. And a nice when you have a trapezium, if you add to all the trees so they drop more, and younger will drop less. But let's bring them up slightly. Okay, we have it all of this segment. Add our meshing fine. We don't care about root flakes or blur, so it's look good. Our influence, we have our swirl that we added a little bit. We could pop up maybe a little bit more on the swirl to make it kind of look very twisty, but I don't know if I like it this way. It's not really birch, it's more as the willow. So on this one, probably even less, more 0.5. So it's more, will look like a birch type plant. Okay, our flexibility is 0.3, maybe even 0.2. Let's reduce flexibility a little bit. Play wind, I want to see. Whoa, look on that. How crazy, because the link is increasing, so they're going very crazy, very high wind. Okay, so we can work a little bit on that flexibility. And twigs, influence. So we disable motion. So yeah, we have it only influence in here. If we set influence to 0 and preview wing, we should, there you go, there. Don't move, just on a branch moving. So we do want to have it some influence, but not as much as before, because I think that was a little bit too high influence. It still be because they're so thin and far away, they're affecting. So let's go look on the branches and maybe rework a little bit on how tall they are. So they have it 4. Let's go drop them to maybe about 2 and 3. Oh, now they're too small, too short. Not enough for them can go there. So let's go to 3. 3 a little bit better. And again, we have it 4. Well, it's even a little bit better, except we don't have, still have it a little bit too much influence going on those. Let's go back to the branches, influence, and maybe set 0.01. So it won't be even less influence, so it won't be that high. There you go, a little bit better here. Okay, so the other things what we could do, we can go inside the repeat and modify a little bit, add random duration. So now they're not necessarily 4, we can have it 4.2, so some of them will be shorter, some longer, more branches going from this. So it just create a little bit more randomness to this element. And if we look on a plant, I think it's look kind of okay. So it will still can tweak a little bit more around, but overall we kind of created our own tree. A couple things before we the end. How I said before, I can show you some small things if we want to have it roots coming out. This is our tree, and again, it's don't need to be that complex. If you notice, it is kind of simple. It could add more complexity if we start adding age and all these other elements, but for now, as a beginning, don't worry about creating very complex, just start with this simple and add all these additional elements. Okay, so let's go back to root. So we'll go to geometry and let's just create another trunk, well, branch segment. So we'll create branch segment and we'll just go connect this branch segment to new child on our trunk. Notice it's going on top. So, but you remember what we can do, we can go inside our branch, new one, and we can actually modify start and end mode. So what if I take end mode and bring all the way down? I can create around the ground those elements. So now all what I need to do is make them going on the ground, and it does help me if I'm going to work with the, let me say, a little bit blending here and place them down. So it is, we have it horizontal, so we can go pop up, so they go horizontal. And we can kind of a little bit apply elements here. Okay, let's go to add roll and call. Just a little bit spreading. Again, 12, maybe 11. So we'll just set different elements. You can add more. Maybe let's go add 6, add 1. I think this one maybe spread a little bit more. So like this. Okay, our end is still, but if you remember, we have it in the influencer. We can make a local base, what we did before. Okay, and with these ones, we can also go and switch to the swirl. Okay, we can add 1 to Y and pop up maybe to about 1 power. So again, the influence, oops, we're actually on a trunk. It's not what I wanted. I don't want to do this on a trunk. I want to do this on my branch. So we'll go back and let me undo some stuff I did. So the segment, okay, well here, let's go back on a branch. And I want to do that stuff, what we just did it on a branch. So we'll add here, local braces. And you can see how they already sync. I don't necessarily want them sync yet. I want them swirl. 1, 1. Kind of you can see how they're going. They're already very interesting. And maybe 1 here. So right here, we're kind of swirling them around, almost like a little bit worms. So let's go 0.4 on this. And this one set 0.1. Kind of spread around. Okay, we don't need gravity. We could apply also gravity to this, which is bring them after down, but not at this moment. So let's go set 0. We'll add another, combined on this case directional. So we can kind of bring 19 a little bit up, sink those roots a little bit down in the ground. Right here, and as a segment, we have a link. So let's go modify slightly, take it this little bit more down, so they smaller going out. Okay, and also pop up link a little bit up. And we need a radius. So it says inherited, which is fine, but we want to inherit a ratio decreasing, so we don't want too big. So we can set maybe about here and make them smaller, something like this. So right here you can see we already have it kind of interesting roots created. Of course, we can go inside the trunk for our branch, and we can bring end a little bit higher, a little bit on the top, so they're blending a little bit more. And right here we have it quite a bit on the blending. So we can disable a little bit for this blending going. Actually, you know what, let's just decrease a little bit on this blending, but leave it in. But for this branch, let's take a little bit more down so we don't have it blending materials, but we'll take lower and top down so we don't have it too much blending. I want a little bit but not too much, and a little bit maybe too small. So we'll go back to our branch segment and we'll just pop up and inherit just a little bit fatter like this. Yeah, let's go back. This one may be a little bit too high, so we'll go take trapezium opposite. We want to drop them down. So let's go trapezium, go down a little bit. Okay, and ratios. Pop up 50 and drop down. Okay, and our trunk, we'll go back to our branches and let's drop and to about a little bit up, maybe 0.01. So they just barely keep up. There you go. I think these roots will look a little bit more interesting and kind of natural. Of course, we need to go take materials and we want to switch these materials to maybe something different. Let's go look maybe something darker like this. And let's go ahead, render preview, see what we have it. And here you can see we have it planned with our branches, and how I say this is just add a little bit more with the roots, again effect, and we create our first basic tree with some fancy root. Let's go ahead and give it file, export, and we're going to export as a view species. We'll go this the tree. Let's go save it. Okay, let's take a little bit time. We'll click OK. Okay, and inside the view we can go actually right click on our plants, open our tree because I don't want an ecosystem. And here we have our tree we just created. Let's select our main camera, move camera out. And here's our first tree. We're going to create a second tree. Of course, because it's a species, it should look a little bit different. There's another tree. And another tree. And one more tree. Skinny tree. Okay. So you can see the different of our plants. And let's go ahead and click on render. So it's take a few minutes to render our scenery, and I will resume as soon when render is completed. Okay, here's the render is completed. There's a mutant kind of looking tree because mostly it's a roots. Roots does look like on a mutant. I don't think the birch actually have this type of roots. But overall, what we learned here is how very fast and simple setup create your first tree, add some leaves, plants and other things. In another videos we're going to create a more realistic looking tree, so see how we can create it, some cut off branches, trunks and other things, how we can add more realistic leaves and branches. But I will encourage you to go experiment, play around with this setting, see what else you can creatively do with this tree. And if you like these videos, please subscribe on YouTube and channel. Also, your support on Patreon is very appreciated. And again, thank you for all your help.